There's an underrated tool in Ableton Live that will make your drums sound 10 times better, especially if you're working with pre-made loops that never quite fit your track. After working with over 400 producers and helping them finish music they're actually proud of, I know that if you don't get your drums right, your entire track is designed to fail. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what this tool is, how it works, and how you can use it to design drums that feel alive and create a great foundation for your track. Here's how it works. So it's actually not a single tool, it's a set of tools that Ableton has built in, and it's their internal drum synths. You find them if you search for DS. You can see DS tom, snare, and so on. And we'll just start with the kick and basically build the entire drum kit from scratch using these tools. And I'll show you exactly why I find them so useful. So right now we have a 4 to the floor kick drum, and this is what the DS kick, their kick drum module, sounds to begin with. Now, what I find super useful is that you can actually tune this and it shows basically the closest pitch. So if, let's say, we want to write a track in D minor or something, you can actually tune this to D. So this is a really solid foundation. This is probably a bit too donkey and boomy, so we can change the K of this, we can change the envelope. And I'll just play around and show you what this actually sounds like and how you can influence the sound of that kick drum. So the K is how long this kick drum is ringing out. An envelope is the pitch envelope that is built in here. So if you want this to sound more knocky, tighter, you can basically bring this down. If you want it to sound more boomy, you can bring it up. I'm actually going to change the pitch because this high D is not really my favorite frequency to go for. Let's maybe go for an E or something like that. Now, if you want a little bit more click in your sound, you can actually hit this little click button. And by the way, if you have multiple layers, you can easily click this phase button to see if it sounds better with the phase switched, because sometimes the envelope that is created from this kick drum might be exactly the opposite of, for example, another sampled kick drum that you're using. For now, we just have this one kick drum, so it doesn't really matter. And then you can add a little bit of built-in saturation. I'm a big fan of saturating kick drums because that really creates a unique character depending on how far you want to drive it. And this is really dictated by the genre. But I will show you what this sounds like. So you can go from really tame sounds to something that is quite heavily distorted. I just like a little bit of a sprinkle of distortion and like overtones here. Really nice. But our goal here is to create basically an entire drum kit just using these samplers. Now you might be asking yourself, why do I even want to use that instead of just a pre-made loop? The thing that I like about this is that you can actually infuse a little bit of aliveness and character into these drums by modulating them in clever ways. And this becomes especially helpful if we now go, for example, to something like a hi-hat. So a fast way to punch in something like a hi-hat is to actually go to these generative functions here inside Ableton Live. You have them in version 12 and onwards. And here you can basically generate these MIDI notes straight away. If I just want an offbeat hi-hat, you just have to have this set to 8th notes, the pattern to 1, steps 4, and then you can basically shift this around to shift it to the offbeat. So you have a standard offbeat hi-hat. If this is muscle memory, this workflow becomes super fast. You then play around with the velocity. You can also randomize the velocity if that's something you want to do, to just have like different flavors here. And I like to do this to create a little bit of groove in here. I also really like this humanize function so that it's not completely straight all the time. And then it starts to get interesting. What can you now do with that hi-hat sound? So first of all, you want to develop some kind of a starting point sound that you want. I don't really like this initial one that we have here. So I'll just change the decay and the pitch a little bit and also the tone. And what you can then do is you basically create an LFO tool and map this LFO tool to something like the decay time. And what that does is it will just change how long this sound is going to decay based on this LFO here. Now, this is way too extreme. So what we will do is we will just basically set this to unipolar. So it's just from this point on moving into this direction. We'll also make it a bit less intense. So it's just gently pushing this. And then we could theoretically bring this rate to something that makes musical sense. So dotted eighth notes or something like that. This has like a little bit of a random feel. You could also do something very straight, like for example, in the half notes. Now, this is one of the fluctuations that actually give this an alive feel, but it becomes much more interesting when you also map it to something like the pitch. You can use the same LFO tool if you want something that is musically connected, but you could also do something like this, where you set this waveform to something a bit more random, like this stray, for example. You don't set the rate to something that's musically tuned. Here you use a little bit of bipolar modulation, so it goes into both directions, just a tiny bit. Then you map it to the pitch here, and then you will notice how this starts to fluctuate. Now, this becomes really interesting when you then feed it into something like an echo, because all of the notes in the echo, and maybe also a little bit of reverb later on, is going to be obviously influenced by these slightly different sounds. So the texture that you originally built gets infused into the rest of the sounds. Now, bear in mind, these are just two sounds. We can now build the rest of the drum kit here, and I'll show you some cool tricks with the other ones as well. Let's go for some toms. Now, another way to create drum patterns that is not penciling in with the MIDI notes, that is also not using the generative tools inside Ableton, is to just go with a sequencer. So we can use something like Sting. Most people use sequencers like this one just for their bass lines or lead lines, but these are actually really cool grooves as well for something like toms. So listen to that. So we can bring down the steps, for example, to just do 5. We'll decrease the density to make it a little bit shorter. And by the way, I picked 5 because that is a polymeter. So if you have these 5 steps in a 4/4 groove, this creates a polymeter, which can, for this type of music that I'm making, which is more the hypnotic side of techno, can be really interesting. So let's bring this up to 10 to make it a bit longer, the sequence. And once again, this is really interesting because you can modulate these parameters later on. So we can do something very similar. Let's use an echo here. As you can see, I'm a big fan of echoes. And this time, we're going to really go for ping pong mode, but make them a bit shorter. And you can once again fine-tune these. So if we are on E here, we can use E again, or we can use something that is adjacent. I'll actually try to stick with E this time. And I really like this color parameter. So what we'll do is, once again, we go for an LFO, and we'll feed this LFO to the color parameter this time. The The clap is one that I really like as well, specifically the sloppy setting. So this is quite nice. I'll show you what that does. First of all, go for once again a couple of MIDI notes here. You can also experiment with some of these rhythms that are being generated. I also like to program them my own. Very often I like to also use external like sequences where I can punch in stuff with my hands. Sometimes I also like to experiment with these settings, so it's a lot of fun to do that. For this, I will set this actually to 16th notes, increase the density. And the sloppy is basically how tight are these claps. So listen to what this does. This can be a parameter that's super fun to automate in your session. So for example, in a breakdown right before the drop hits, you could automate this up so that the clap almost falls apart and then it becomes more tight again once the drop hits. So these are all things that you can do with these tools that you don't find in your typical sample pack. So spread is obviously how far they're spread out to left and right. The tail is the length of this clap. Tone is basically the snappiness of the signal. Tail and decay are obviously very connected. We'll modulate this a little bit. I promise I won't use an echo on this one. Let's change the tail a little bit and also the sloppiness. Can map the second one here. And we will overall bring the modulation depth down a little bit so that it's not too extreme. This overall is obviously not as hard-hitting as like a sample that is perfectly mixed already and that you throw into your session. So you have to do like a little bit more mixing work later on, but you get the benefit of this customizability of your drum sounds. And that is something that I really, really like. And honestly, if you were to use a classic 909 that is untreated, you would also have to do a bit more mixing and production work to get it to sound really great. Now, one of my favorites here for kind of textures that I bring into my drum sounds is the FM one. This is the one that needs like a little bit more fine-tuning in terms of the controls. You will notice that this sounds like a bit weird and overwhelming in the beginning because it's very tonal. So what you have to do here with this one is you have to bring the feedback up and the pitch down, or completely up. So those two options are there. If you have it anywhere in between and it's just so tonal that it's probably not really a drum sound, it's a bit more like a stab or something like that. This is quite cool, and especially if you then create a bit live into this, keep the pitch up completely but modulate the tone a little bit. The decay as well. Decay will just create unipolar, so it's just feeding a bit more into this and ringing out with the tail. And I will show you a different trick that I like in combination with this, and that is to use the erosion plugin. So with this, we can feed in some noise into that signal at specific frequencies. So either a sine or a white noise or just noise. So listen to that. I like the white noise because it opens up the stereo spectrum a little bit. We'll create a different LFO that modulates the frequency. So this is basically moving back and forth. Now, if you feed that into a reverb, it starts to sound incredibly cool. We use just the algorithmic side, so this right side here with the artificial sounds. Let's keep it with the dark hall, but make it much bigger. Now, stacking these sounds makes the sound overall quite dense, so I would usually in a production very often not play all of these together. So, for example, you could just bring them in individually depending on taste and then have different combinations of those. But just to show you the variety, I'll create one more here. So the cymbal, for example, this is actually a quite simple one. And here, once again, we'll use Sting to create a sequence. Once again, this is something that you can very easily automate in your session and bring in to increase the tension in a part, for example. So LFO tool here, change the tone and maybe also a little bit of the decay. This is something that I really like to combine with the phaser flanger thing. If you're into those artificial sounds, but I find this quite cool. I would not use this to mimic like a real cymbal. Doubler is also super cool. And once again, you could use the LFO also to change this, for example, a bit more of that feeding into the signal. Now, the last one I'm showing you is this clang thing, and this is actually a very weird one. So the clang is something like a synthetic cowbell. Sounds quite shitty, to be honest, but yeah, you can change it into something interesting as well. So I found this to be very effective if you pitch it down completely and create these interesting, snappy, dark pitched sounds. So this can be quite cool, especially if you combine it with something like grain delay. So we'll just bring this in occasionally, make it a bit less dense, the sequence for this one. So let's just combine this with the kick so you get an idea of what that does. Now you know how to create custom drum sounds, but that's definitely not enough to stand out as an artist these days. So if you want to learn my method for coming up with unique sounding lead synths, make sure to watch that video next.